Take a close look at this coin. See anything unusual? How about now? Right there on that tiny ridge. It's an entire phrase, the letters too small to see with the naked eye, but carved entirely by hand.
I'm trying to push the limits as far as possible to try and engrave smaller than anybody else.
In Birmingham's historic jewelry quarter, Graham Short is a living legend. A master engraver working in a tiny world that few can comprehend.
The job I'm most proud of is engraving the words "nothing is impossible" along the sharp edge of a razor blade. Many, many times it went wrong.
Every micro engraving starts by prepping the micro tools.
I've got some Victorian needles, which I rub down as much as I can to make them even smaller.
Graham uses a candle to get the needles steeled just right.
They're very brittle. So I use a candle, but because the needle is so thin, the heat shoots right to the end of the needle and it's too soft then. So then I have to harden it. I can spend probably 3 days trying to get it right. That's probably all right.
His ultimate test for sharpness is not for the squeamish.
That's quite sharp. That's good. That doesn't hurt at all. And it certainly won't bleed. They're frighteningly sharp on the point. They've got to be small to engrave because I'm pushing the limits of engraving so far.
The majority of Graham's work is done on the heads of gold pins.
I try to use objects that everybody will recognise. I want them to know how difficult it is.
Famous quotes and sayings are his specialty, but it all began with a prayer.
I started working on the Lord's Prayer about 40 years ago.
70 words, 278 letters, all precisely carved into a surface the size of, well, a pinhead. From here, there was no turning back.
I've engraved England's World Cup goal scorers on a football stud. That's from 1950 when England went into the competition to the present day. 38 names on that. I've also engraved on the end of a silver bullet where the firing pin strikes. I've engraved the Second Amendment, the American Bill of Rights, which allows Americans to bear arms.
On the tiny tip of this paperclip is a famous quote by Norman Mailer.
I want to try more than anything to shock people with my work. I want them to think that's impossible to do, and I'm happy with that. That's enough for me.
The key to Graham's precision is fitness. He's 65 years old, but he still swims 10 kilometers every day. It's all to keep a steady hand and heart.
The fitter I am, the lower my resting pulse rate, and that's what I'm aiming for. And at the moment, my resting pulse rate is about 30 beats a minute.
At this micro scale, even Graham's pulse could throw him off. He tapes a stethoscope to his chest so he can work between heartbeats. He straps his engraving arm tightly in place, and then he waits. Everything must be perfect.
Right, I'm just about to engrave the bar on the top of a letter T. I'm waiting until the moment feels right to put in the slightest amount of pressure, and I can hear my heart beating. If I can do it between heartbeats, it will be okay. I'm waiting. I'm in the right position. And that's it. If I can do, say, 7 cuts a night, that's a good night. And that would give me a letter E and a letter F completed.
The job Graham just started could take months, even years before it looks like these. To say this work is slow is a massive understatement. But it's all starting to pay off. That engraved razor blade was recently appraised at over $75,000. To Graham, the best is yet to come. Today, in London's Mayfair district, his full collection is on display for the very first time. Through special viewing microscopes, these tiny works of art are now becoming larger than life.
I just thought it was incredible.
Phenomenal.
I was speechless.
It's kind of disbelief. You want to go back and back again to really make sure that your eyes are not deceiving you.
The response has been fantastic. It's been better than I could have hoped for. I like people's reaction when they look at the work. They can't believe it. And I love to see the look on the face. It's excellent.